Hello guys, so I'm here with another video and today I will be talking about how to be productive in terms of getting work done, making sure that you're ahead of the game and on time with things. Now, the first thing that I would say is have a clear why. Why do I want to get better? Why do I want to improve my life? And from that point onwards, you take out your journal, you get a pen, and you write down, what are your goals for today? What do you want to get done? Now, it's very easy to put 100 things down, but you want to narrow it down to about 10 or 15 things. If that's too much, even 5 things. Because when you have a clear structure and a clear kind of method, and you have a clear goal and you know where you're going, then you can just write that all down and then zoom through it and see what is the most manageable thing to do. And you start off there. And then you're ahead of the game, you're on time, you're getting things done. Now push that aside and ask yourself, what is the next thing that I have to do? And if it makes life easier for yourself, put music in the background or, have a little dance, because after all, life is about joy, living with joy. And when you add a bit of joy, like shaking that hip or even like putting your hands in the air and doing power moves, that helps oneself get better, and that helps the person improve their self-esteem, and you feel like you're invincible and you're on top of the world and you're getting things done. So always do power moves, shake your hip, and then you will skyrocket. Another thing that you should do is make sure that you do the things you don't like first. So even though I did say the manageable things, make sure it's the things that you've been putting off for a while now, and things that you perhaps feel like it's treacherous or difficult. And if you need a coffee or a matcha or something to give you that kickstart, go ahead. Make sure that you're hydrated, so 2 liters plus of water, of course dependent on everyone. Make sure that you increase your water intake, and you should have better clear focus. The truth is, the majority of us don't drink enough water, and you've probably heard this before, but it is true. We are mostly water, so when we don't even if we're like the 10% deprived, our capacities to think becomes very small, and we no longer have that drive to think and expand ourselves, because water is, we're water beings. It's something that is necessity for us. So make sure to increase your water intake. Another thing is, try and fast. Now I know that this kind of information is beyond my scope of practice, and I'm not a dietitian, but again, you do not have to fast. A dietitian will tell you, depending on your goal, you do not have to fast. Because you want to increase your productivity, fasting is great. Of course, it's not necessary, you don't have to fast, but fasting for me provides this sharp focus, because I can't wait to have my meal. And it could be 12 o'clock, it could be 11 o'clock, it could be 1 or 2 o'clock. Do not, again, I repeat, do not exceed the time that you break your fast, as in, don't starve yourself. So don't restrict food to the point where you're like going to faint and collapse. So make sure that you have loads of water, drink a coffee before you break your fast, so you can have that focus, and then gradually increase your food, because then you'll kind of look forward to it more, and when you go and sit down and have your meal, you'll be more mindful, and you'll just overall enjoy it more, and I think that's beautiful. Another thing that you should do is nature walks, exercise. As a personal trainer, I am a firm believer that movement is the best therapy. Ensuring and provided that you are fueling your body and you're drinking enough water, everything else is in check, exercise is perfect. As long as you stretch beforehand, stretch after, and take your time with the movements, because exercise can provide this sense of relief, because you've done something so difficult, so afterwards you feel as though you've accomplished a huge milestone. And you can bring that on to your work, and you can bring that on to when you're doing other things, because you feel like that sensory relief that you've done something difficult, and it'll become easier to then do other things because you've done the hard bit, which was working out, which is arguably difficult for some people. You've done that, so out of the way, and now you can put your head down and focus entirely on your work. It's very important to do so. Another thing that I would say to you guys is increase your greens. So greens are literally powerhouses. They are powerhouses. So if you have spinach, lettuce at home, kale, whatever greens you have at home, consume them, because kale, greens are so good for the mind, body and spirit, because as you all know, chlorophyll especially is the green pigment found in plants, and it's known to increase energy levels. Spirulina is great as well. It's a bit on the pricey side, but if you can even get lettuce, get your hands on lettuce, spinach, all that jazz, all the great stuff, and put them in a smoothie, blend them away, and it is just nourishment for the body. Now, another thing I would say to you guys is make sure that you cut off negative people from your life. People who do not aid in your growth, people who keep you backwards, who keep you going backwards, people who do not cheer you on, people who, you feel like you can't confide in difficult times, people who push you down. Now, sometimes these can be your family members, and I know it's hard to be away from these kind of people. Sometimes these people are colleagues, and it's very difficult not to face them, which is fair enough. What I'm saying is try to reduce the interaction as much as possible to ensure that your energy field is not affected by this, because people can have a huge effect on our performance and how we show up for ourselves. If we're always showing up for other people, helping other people, but not filling our own cup, we're going to end up being depleted, and our tank is empty because we're giving, exceedingly giving to other people. And what you want to do is make sure you pay yourself first. The same way with money, you make sure you pay yourself first. So pay your rent, pay your bills, pay for your groceries, 10 to 20% for investments, and which I have not started, but hoping to. Then, you can pay other people, but make sure you pay yourself. Don't forget that. Prioritize yourself first and foremost, because if you prioritize others over you, your foundation is broken, and you are giving from emptiness, and you cannot sustain that. So make sure you pay yourself first. More ways to increase your energy levels is electrolytes. So coconut water is great. Think there is pink Himalayan salt in water. Adding some lemon juice and all of that. Make sure that you eat enough carbohydrates. Carbohydrates get such a bad reputation, and as a personal trainer, it annoys me so much, because carbohydrates, especially glucose, which is a type of carbohydrate, is vital for brain function, and you cannot thrive without glucose. Now, people will argue ketones, ketosis, and there's a ketogenic diet which actually gives you more energy, and the truth is this does not work for everyone. And even if it does work for some people, there are special reasons why these people are following a keto diet, and they say that it's great for Parkinson's disease, or it's great for all those other illnesses. Now, again, I am not a dietitian, just to clarify that, but I know basic nutrition, and I know that carbs are essential for function, daily function. So make sure you do not cut out your carbohydrates. Now, another thing I have noticed in this industry is people saying that you need to, buy a certain course, or you need to purchase, these kind of courses. And that is great. Do invest in those courses, but do not do it from a place of empty pockets, because you want to make sure that you are paying yourself, as I said, and make sure that you're showing up for yourself. And, most of these people, they don't really care about your pockets, and they don't care about you as a person. So ultimately, I'm not saying they're scammers, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying it's not necessary to purchase these courses on, these fad diets, or these like detox teas and all these products are bullshit, and excuse my language, but the truth is these products do not increase your energy levels. They are just merely money making schemes to just empty your pockets, and do not fall for it, because yes, they may aid in some things, they may have health benefits, but you don't need to buy them and they're not necessary. So just like a lot of things in life, if you want to buy them, go ahead, but don't make sure you do it out of a place of abundance and a place where you are financially secure and ready to do so. Because let's face it, you can't pay for these things when you haven't paid your bills, your groceries, etc., etc. You know what I mean. Another thing that you need to focus on is making sure that your support group is a good support group. So, and making sure they're a good influence on you. So if you are going to have friends, make sure that these friends are people that you can confide in and that genuinely want to support you. Because the truth is, when you're in an environment where you have friends who you can kind of tell aren't happy with your achievements or secretly envious of you, you don't want to be around these people, because they affect your energy field and they affect your energy levels big time. You may not see it play a hand at the start because your tank is loaded, but over time, trust me, it'll go down and you'll feel off and you'll be like, why do I feel so off? And you check your circle group of friends and you check your support system and it's quite inefficient. And of course, friends are not people that you use, but if people are not adding value to your life, why have them in your life? Because people who aren't adding value, instead they take value, so they take from you. And even though you're helping them and you're adding to their life, they aren't adding to yours. And reciprocation is so important in friendships, with colleagues, wherever you are. Reciprocation of energy is so important, because as humans, there has to be that equilibrium. Otherwise, we collapse. And if there's no equilibrium, people are going to take advantage of us. And because we're good people, we're good folks, we don't want to betray people and we want to show up for them. We forget to show up for ourselves, in turn harming ourselves. And we don't want to do that, because as I said, you are your priority first and foremost. Now, there is a few more things I want to talk about, and I'm trying to see at the top of my head, but if you have a pet at home or an animal or some sort of companion, do take the time to play with them when you get overwhelmed. And I know you might think, oh, I'm wasting my time. As long as you don't get carried away and as long as you're not playing with them excessively, you'll be fine. If you need a mental break, play with them for 10, 15 minutes, even 20. Meditation is also great. So if you want to meditate for 10 minutes or so, that should be great. Make sure you find a quiet place to do it. People say you can meditate anywhere. Do prioritize finding a quiet place, and then from that point onwards, you can see where you can meditate, and make sure to focus on the breath, internal work, and make sure to clear out the brain if there's any gunk. So if you want to journal what you feel in the moment, and journal things that need addressing perhaps, so you can have that cleanse, and you can feel like you're at one with yourself, because it's so important to make sure that you have peace of mind and you have clear brain, and make sure that if anything is stressing you out, you take it all down and make sure that it's addressed, because ultimately, when we go to sleep, we only have ourselves, as I said in the previous video. When we go to bed, on our sides, people are going to realize that, all you have is yourself. And if you can't, oh my gosh, the lighting is a bit weird. If you can't show up for yourself, then you cannot show up for anyone else. And that is the main takeaway from this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and definitely come back for more. And yeah, lots of love, guys. Catch you in the next video.